Got a thought experiment about animal rights, and it's called Name the Trait.
Okay. I'm ready for you.
I love a game.
Okay, cool. I just don't want to overwhelm you. Stop me if you need to. So basically, the idea is, the question is, so Name the Trait, NTT, is a consistency test, basically. So it asks the question, basically, what is the difference between humans and animals that makes it okay to slaughter animals but not slaughter humans? And so instead of actually running NTT on you, instead of running Name the Trait on you, because it can make people uncomfortable and stuff, and I love y'all, I don't want to make it a debate or anything hectic. I could just kind of explain the process to you and how, like, some people give their common answers and then the responses to that. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So some people will say in response to that question, what's the difference between humans and animals that makes it okay to slaughter animals but not humans, is that animals have lower intelligence. And so that's the trait that they're naming, is that animals have lower intelligence than humans. And I can grant that, right? We're smarter than animals, sure, on average. But then the question would be, well, what if we found a human who had that trait of lower intelligence than the average human, such that, you know, this human was, let's say, severely brain damaged or mentally disabled, such that they're only as smart as like a 3-year-old child or a dog or a pig? Is it okay to slaughter that human because they have lower intelligence? If intelligence is the trait, then it should be okay to slaughter this human. But most people say, no, it's not okay to slaughter mentally disabled people, right? Or anybody of lower intelligence, because it doesn't, we all seem to agree, for the most part, most of us agree that just because somebody's of lower intelligence, that's not a justification to cause them harm. In fact, they need protection and stuff. So then we have to then the person will have to kind of go back to the starting point and name a new trait, because if they don't feel comfortable with that situation, then it's not the fact that lower intelligence was the trait that makes that differential treatment. And so then they'll say, maybe, you know, oftentimes they'll say things like, well, it's DNA. It's the fact that we're human and the animals are animals. It's not lower intelligence. Or maybe it's, you know, and so we'll say, okay, well, what if we found an alien species, you know, big hypothetical, but what if we found a species that was not human? They had different DNA, but they looked just like humans and they act just like humans and they think just like us, equal intelligence to us, but they have different DNA. Would it be okay to slaughter this alien species for you know, out of just for pleasure of the taste bud?
Yeah.
And most people, you know, sometimes people will say, yeah, it's fine to kill aliens. And it's like, well, okay, you know, or, you know, even though they look and act just like us, or sometimes most people will say, no, it's not okay to kill, like, you know, those individuals because they're so similar to us. And so then we have to, again, go back to the drawing board, that initial position. Well, what is the trait then, you know? And sometimes they'll say, well, it's a combination of those two factors, lower intelligence and DNA. So then I ask, well, if we had that alien species who look just like us, except they're mentally disabled or brain damaged to some degree, right? To where they're only as smart as a 3-year-old child or a dog or a pig, but they look and act just like basically a mentally disabled human, but they have different DNA and they're lower intelligence. Do those two traits now justify slaughtering this individual? And some people will say, yes, it's okay to kill mentally disabled aliens that are just like indistinguishable from your regular mentally disabled person. And some people are like, no, that's disgusting, that's terrible, it's wrong to do that. So we have to go back to the drawing board. But if they're consistent, and I'll wrap up real soon here, I know I've been ranting, but if they're consistent and they say, yeah, it's okay to slaughter the mentally disabled aliens because they have lower intelligence and different DNA, well, I would just call that a reductio ad absurdum, where they're consistent, yes, but their argument reduces to absurdity, where they look atrocious, and most people will think that's pretty disgusting behavior to do that. If that was someone there, you know, that would be a terrible thing to do. And so the other option is just to realize that lower intelligence and different DNA, or the different shape that somebody comes in, is irrelevant morally, and that we should respect animals and aliens and anybody who's different and just be nice and not slaughter them.